Hello and welcome to the Burt Locker Fights in 15 for UFC Vegas 26 with a brand new main event with Michelle Waterson and someone whose name escapes me. I'm totally honest, I am not fussed by the main event at all. That is real talk. What I am far more interested in is that it's possibly last chance saloon for the Cowboy. Cowboy Donald Cerrone is going to be in the co-main event, but there are a few underdogs here that I'm just going to have a look at, wrap it up in 15 minutes. So yeah, and yeah, put on some terrible bets. There are some terrible bets here as well, because there is one where I'm full on betting with my heart and not with my head, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's start off with the heavyweights. There are some heavyweights on this card in the form of Maurice Green and Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Lima, he's a Brazilian fella. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, right? Now that is going to be key here, I think. Mostly because I don't really rate Maurice Green, but I'll go into that in a moment. Like with the Valentina Shevchenko pattern, where it was decision, knockout, decision, finish, decision, finish, decision, finish, so on, so forth. The pattern for De Lima is since 2014, it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and so now he's due a win. That's science. You cannot argue with that. That is flawless betting. I definitely think he's going to get the finish here, because he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, like I said. Now Green, he's a blue belt under Brock Larson, so you know he's pretty good on the ground, but I don't think he's going to be able to cope with De Lima there. And Green, he lost to Greg Hardy last time out, and honestly, he made such hard work of the fight where he beat Gian Villante by an absolute whisker. And Gian Villante, let's be honest, he was just an out of shape light heavyweight. He looked terrible in that fight. So yeah, the fact that he made such hard work of that was telling. I don't think that Maurice Green wins this fight. I do think that he gets finished. I can't decide between the knockout and the submission. So when it's 1.91 for Lima to get for the double chance, the rest of the odds are all up here. So if there's any other stupid bets that you want to put on, feel free. But this one's actually my pick of the week. Pick of the week: Marcos Rogerio de Lima to get the finish. So double chance, knockout, TKO or submission. I'm having that all day. 1.91. Add that to the bet slip. Then we've got the return of Amanda Ribas. Now, Amanda Ribas, she was on, she was being kind of fast-tracked, really. She looked very good. She's very good on the ground. She managed to kind of out-grapple Mackenzie Dern on the ground, which is really difficult to do. She didn't get the finish, but the fact that she was able to kind of hang with Mackenzie Dern, when you look at what Mackenzie Dern is doing to people on the ground, it's telling that's how good Amanda Ribas is, right? She's going up against Angela Hill, who I think is vastly overrated. Angela, she just seems to make hard work of just about any fight that she's put in. Win or lose, she's usually happy enough to go to a decision and be on the losing end of it. She always kind of moans about kind of not getting the win. But a lot of that, I think, is her own doing. There's no urgency there. I don't think that she gets the win over Amanda Ribas. I think Amanda Ribas is going to come back looking great here. She came unstuck in her last fight against Rodriguez. No shame in that. She got knocked out. She got kind of outclassed, but she's new. Do you know what I mean? She's relatively new. This one's going to be at strawweight again. So yeah, I just think that Ribas should find a submission here, and the submission is currently 4.50, which is insane. That's 3.5 to 1 for the submission. I think that is the most likely way that Amanda Ribas wins this fight. When you look at how good at grappling she is, I don't think that Angela Hill is going to be able to stop the grappling of Amanda Ribas. So I am taking that submission, 4.50, adding that to the bet slip. Then we've got, this fight's really interesting, right? Friend of the show, Neal Magny, taking on Jeff Neal. Now, Neal Magny doesn't know that he's a friend of the show, but we sat and had a conversation at UFC Fight Night 90. I've said this before. It's like, he's a really, really nice guy. We just sat and just kind of chatted. He, like other people getting pictures, I just wanted to have a conversation with the bloke. Yeah, thoroughly nice guy. And you know what? He is underrated as well. He's got a really underrated skill set. He's very good at setting a high pace and using his cardio to wear his opponents out. Now, last time out against Chisaya just looked fantastic. Chisaya out-grappled him, he wrestled him, he looked really great. It was more Chisaya looking outstanding than Magny looking bad. Now, I think that Magny when you look at the odds here, right, Magny's coming in as an underdog here, 2.50. Now, don't get me wrong, Jeff Neal is a hell of a fighter. Hands of steel. Do you know what I mean? Hands of steel, Jeff Neal. That is, he's got very heavy hands. He's very good at striking. But I don't think he's necessarily known for the kind of wrestling that Chisea was able to use to nullify Neal Magny. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think that in a stand-up fight, Neal Magny has the reach. He's got a good 5-inch reach advantage over Jeff Neal, going by the stats. So if this fight stays on the feet, Neal Magny should be able to keep the distance, should be able to just kind of get ahead on the scorecards and stay ahead on the scorecards. He's very good at doing that. Once he's got a lead, he's very good at putting his foot to the floor, pedal to the metal, and pressing that advantage. And that's what I think he does here. I don't see any reason that Neal Magny doesn't win this fight. I mean, other than the obvious, like, Jeff Neal knocking him out. Watch Jeff Neal knock him out now. But yeah, no, on my bet is going to be on the underdog in this fight, Neal Magny, to get the win. 2.50 is a great price as well, because I do think that he has the best tools to win this fight. But again, it might be because he's a friend of the show. It's unbiased, aren't I? So then we move on to the co-main event. It's last chance saloon here for Cowboy Donald Cerrone. Pardon the pun. This is a last minute change of opponent. He was supposed to be fighting Diego Sanchez. We've all seen what's been going on with Diego Sanchez. I went over that in detail on the midweek show. If you head over to the page, it's all on there. So yeah, Diego Sanchez had to recuse himself. That's a shame, because I was looking forward to that fight. Diego Sanchez versus Cowboy Cerrone. Loser leaves town, effectively. That's an insanely good fight. That's really great fun. But yeah, I mean, what I find strange here is that Cowboy Cerrone is the favourite. And he's on a 5-fight skid. Don't get me wrong, Morono's hardly lighting the world on fire with his record. Do you know what I mean? And he's not exactly on the level of the guys that, like, 3 of those knockout losses for Cerrone, to put it into perspective, were against Conor, Gaethje and Tony. There's no real shame in any of those losses, is there? And then he went to, it got turned to a no contest, but it was a draw with Nico Price, which was a competitive fight. And actually, the Pettis fight, I thought Cerrone won. So that 5-fight skid, it's deceptive, isn't it? It's a deceptive 5-fight skid, because it's not really a 5-fight skid when you actually look into the details of what actually happened on those occasions. So I do think that Cerrone is rightly the favourite here, because Morono, I don't know. I don't know if he's got I don't know if he's on that level to be a guy that can just blast straight through Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone is. People forget he comes out and surprises people sometimes. People forget how good he can be when he's on form. And you know what? If nothing else, Donald Cerrone needs to be on form this weekend. Otherwise, he is going to get cut. I mean, Dana White can't keep him there forever. Dana White's already talked about his, having the talk with Donald Cerrone, and Cerrone said that hurt his feelings, right? Well, you need to go out there and win then, buddy. You need to go out there and win. And I am a huge Donald Cerrone fan, so I am going to bet on Donald Cerrone here. I am going to take the double chance, submission or knockout. I think that Donald Cerrone gets the finish. That is 3.50, right? Now, I could be betting with my heart here and not betting with my head, because my head tells me that if somebody is coming in as an underdog against somebody who has looked as beatable as Donald Cerrone in recent years, then you need to put all your money on that underdog. And the odds for Morono are up here. Like I said, he is coming in as an underdog. So that, I think, honestly, Morono is probably the smart bet here. But I don't do smart bets. I'm taking Cowboy Donald Cerrone to get the finish, knockout or submission, 3.50. That's added to the bet slip. So we have got the 4-fold accumulator up here. It's a real piece of work, this one. So obviously you have got Maurice, you've got Marcos Rogerio de Lima with a double chance to get the finish. You've got Amanda Hebas to get the submission. You've got Neal Magny just to win straight up, and Donald Cerrone to get the finish. That's knockout or submission. That is 75.17. That is a terrible, terrible bet. Then you have got the 3-fold, which is all except Cerrone. That's not a bad bet, to be fair. That's 21.48, so circa 20 to 1. Lovely stuff. And then you've got An absolute banker of a double twofold Hebas submission and Lima to get the finish. It's 8.59. I'm having a go on that all day. So we will see how this turns out. We'll see if the Cowboy can walk into Last Chance Saloon once more and walk out alive with his contract still intact. We don't know. But I'll be wrapping these up. It'll be midweek, Wednesday, Thursday is usually when I do them over on the Patreon. So until we see each other again, just keep those odds long and those bets terrible.